As the sun begins to set here, I can look out on the view from the house and visualize the Milky Way rising over the mountains in the south. A place like this gives you plenty of time to reflect upon your journey so far in astrophotography and your relationship with the night sky. And looking at those snow-capped mountains in the distance, I'm getting a good feeling about tonight. I have been excited to make this video for months. Today we are in the deep, dark Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado, and we're gonna do some deep space astrophotography. I've got plans to shoot not just one, but two different deep space nebulae from this location, both of which I've never shot before on this channel. Opportunities as good as this are very few and far between, so I hope you're as excited as I am to share this night together. At the very least, I bet this is a little bit more exciting to look at than my backyard in Chicago. Before we go any further, I want to preface with the fact that this is kind of a continuation of part 2 of last video. Since I'm here for multiple nights, I'm taking advantage of these skies as much as I can, and we have 2 clear nights on this trip. So last night I focused on getting a ultra wide angle shot of the Milky Way arcing across this gorgeous landscape. If you want to see how I captured that shot, click on this video. The house we've rented here is just on the border outside of Rocky Mountain National Park. It's close enough that I can see the entire mountain landscape around me, but I'm not out in the wilderness on my own. The location is listed as a low Bortle 3 on the light pollution map, but I think that's a little bit off because, as I found out last night, I can see the glow from Denver in the south, and that's pretty much the predominant light source in that direction. So I think that's playing an impact on the overall class of this sky, because when I look straight up, it is way, way darker. This is the awesome part about this location. We're up on a hill here. You can sort of see from the intro, that is a steep drop off. Like, I'm on this rock here, I don't want to go any further than that. Now, some of you might be saying, well, if you're right by that town, won't that affect your skies? Won't the bright lights get in the way of your picture? They actually won't at all. The town here is an IDSA dark sky approved location. So the International Dark Sky Association has actually placed mandates on the types of lights that this town is allowed to have. If I were to walk with you into that town, you would notice that there is not a single light outside of a building that does not have a cover over the top of it. These covers make sure that all of that light goes straight down onto the street where it's needed, and none of it spills out into the night sky. And since this location is 200 feet above the town, none of that light is getting in the way. It really is amazing. As amazing as this location is, it's not perfect. There's one huge thing that I'm actually really afraid of that could get in the way of tonight that I will get into in a little bit. For the moment though, it's starting to get a little cooler, the sun is dipping below the horizon, so you know what that means, it's time to get set up. And I think you guys might get a little excited when you see what I'm setting up tonight, because I've got a little surprise in there. So what do you guys think, huh? New mount, the Skywatcher Star Adventure GTI. I'm sure you can put the puzzle pieces together. Heading to college soon. I'm not going to be able to lug that 1 billion pound EQ6R all the way to Indianapolis and image at the university with it. That would be crazy. So I need something portable with that go-to functionality so I can still do my thing. And it was a no-brainer. The GTI just totally fit the bill. Tanner got his way before I did, but we've had that in the plans for forever now. And I'm so excited that it's here. I've been sneakily testing it behind the scenes here and there, and I have been loving it. Of course, like with any new mount, there's a few kinks to work out, so I'm still in that phase right now, but it's reliable enough where I'm confident I'll be able to get a good image for tonight. Oh yeah, what am I imaging tonight? Well, I wanted to pick something that could just take advantage of this pitch black sky. I can image the North American Nebula any clear night that I want from my backyard in Bortle 9, slap my L Extreme on there, and it's gonna do great. But there's a specific kind of deep sky target that is near impossible to image from Bortle 9. They're pretty crazy. It's literally just dust in space. If you get enough exposure time or you're in a dark enough spot, you'll be able to actually see the little wisps of brown dust blocking out the light from stars behind it. And for tonight, with my location and my setup, there is no better target to go after than the Iris Nebula. I've been so jealous of astrophotographers that have had the opportunity to go after this nebula, and it's finally my turn. But what if I told you that's not all? Like I said a little bit earlier, as much as I'm beginning to love this mount, it's not without its quirks, just like any other astrophotography gear that you purchase. So there's a chance that something could go wrong tonight. And I was doing my best to sort of recognize that before flying all the gear here, because I know I have a really limited window in which I'll be able to image, aka just this one night. So this will be the main rig for tonight, but I will have another rig running in the background, capturing a whole different target. It'll be the same setup that I used in the last video. I'll be using my Skywatcher Star Adventure 2i with my Canon EOS R and my Sigma 18 to 35mm f1.8 lens. Except this time I'm not going to be shooting with it at the wide angle of 18mm. I'm going to be fully punched in crop mode at 35mm. And it will be dead set on the start Antares for my favorite deep sky object, the Rho Ophiuchi Cloud Complex. I have tried to photograph this target so many times. I tried in Yosemite, I've tried on other dark sky trips, and somehow it just never works out for me. But I'm not letting anything get in the way of my shot tonight. You might be wondering why I'm not going after it with this setup. It's actually too big. My telescope's focal length, aka basically how magnified it is, and my camera's sensor size are actually a bad combo for the Rho Ophiuchi Cloud Complex. They're too zoomed in, it can't get the whole thing. So believe it or not, that 35mm focal length cropped in 1.6 times is gonna be perfect. I might even get a little smidge of some outer nebulae gases in there too. I'm actually really excited about this shot. I might even honestly be more excited for that shot than the Iris Nebula with this one. Both are just so amazing. And I think that's all I have to yap about now. Let's get imaging without further ado. I have been waiting for this. Feels good to sit down. So I do have to be quiet now because we're in like the legit late hours now. The Milky Way is high in the sky. I can see it just arcing over. I am shivering like crazy. Both setups are currently tracking and imaging their own respective targets right now, and both of them have been going flawlessly. The GTI can be left totally unattended now. I don't need to bother it whatsoever. It's running its sequence in Nina by itself, and the Iris subs are looking great. The GTI is just positioned in the middle of the yard, whereas the Star Adventure 2i setup is way far near the edge of the cliff, and I'm not going out there anymore. I'm not going that far out. I'm glad that I can leave the setups unattended now, because when I said earlier that we have a huge thing that could be getting in our way, I meant a huge thing. Rocky Mountain National Park in general is just full of moose, but this town in particular especially has a very high moose population. I love moose as much as the next guy. I will go out and take pictures of them in the daytime at a safe distance, but when I'm out there with my setup, the whole point of what I'm doing is for it to be dark, for me to be quiet, and for me to be still and steady. And since moose are roaming around here, if one happens to wander through this yard while I'm out there and I'm dead quiet and it doesn't know I'm there and I startle it, that could be really bad news for me. So I joke here and there on the channel about getting the heebie-jeebies while I'm out imaging, you know, but this is actually a big deal. But now that the setups are running autonomously and I can just check on them through my phone, I can hang out in this balcony as long as I want and just take a look at the Milky Way and just admire it from here. I truly do love this location. This is probably the single best location I have ever shot astrophotos in. All right, here it is out there. There's the setup. Let me crank the shutter speed. Ready? This will be a little choppy, but you'll be able to see more. Setup's out there. The other setup, the 2i, is actually out of view right now. It is so far down that hill. I just had to get the best spot for row. You can see the town is plenty lit, but the Milky Way is perfectly in view. Look at that. Oh my gosh. If I zoom out a little bit more, you'll be able to see a little bit better. Look at that. So obviously here you have the Milky Way core in all its glory, and then right over here to the right, that is Rho Ophiuchi. That's the target that I'm going after. You can see it's right next to the Milky Way. So you know what I'm going to say. I say it in every video, but I really do hope you enjoyed this. I understand that not everyone is fortunate enough to be able to go and have experiences like this. So if anything, I hope you're able to feel a sliver of the excitement that I feel being out here under the stars in a Bortle 2 location. I hope you guys like the images that you're about to see, and until next time, I will see you on the next clear night. Clear skies.